brighten up those dark mornings. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lecter. Mornings at the cabin.
Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to your Thursday morning as the snow just is not going to stop. Continues to fall outside in Yellowknife. It's nice though. Nice, soft, fluffy flakes. And once again, as we mentioned yesterday, the shoveling enthusiasts, they're in their element right now. Loving life.
Turns out I'm gonna need the back of my truck on Saturday, so it's got 2 more days to see if I can get to a full load. I'm at like 70% snow in the back of that truck right now. I mean, if this keeps going, I feel like there's an outside shot of being able to level that thing off and have just a full compacted bed of snow.
How much more gas do you think you've used from hauling around snow?
Well, let's not blame me for climate change here.
I wasn't going there.
You know. I mean, all right, yeah, I could have shoveled the snow out the back, if we're honest with ourselves. I do wear this as kind of a mark of shame.
I mean, that's an interesting point, though, Scott. Because it's uncompressed snow, the weight isn't that great. And now, because there's an even surface on top of the truck, the airflow is going right over the truck, creating less drag. So it may break even on fuel consumption.
Okay. Well, look at...
Good little interjection there from Expert Corner.
Physicist AJ over here. Wow.
Any other questions? I'll be right over here.
So many after that answer. Wow.
We'll put a little disclaimer. I'm not sure if that's accurate in the least bit.
Well, you know what? It's 90% confidence. You sounded like you knew what you were talking about, so I just as soon would have believed you. Well done, sir.
Thanks.
Mornings at the cabin, the podcast.
Lecter, Ollie, and AJ with you on your Thursday morning. AJ literally just notified us that Dre finally got his birthday steak last night, so all is right in the world, at least in Dre's eyes.
Yeah, the big 7. He was happy.
Aw, lucky doggo. Speaking of not so lucky doggos, but kind of lucky in a way because he's on the mend. Jesse gave us a pup date yesterday about Betty. They are back in town in Yellowknife, and they got the bed pulled out in the living room. Everything's flipped upside down for the dog as the dog begins the road to recovery. So best of luck to Betty. We're happy you're back, Jesse and Phoenix, and shout out to you guys this morning for sure.
That's a little extra, isn't it? There's a little extra. Like
you think that's extra?
Dragging, well, like extra. I mean, you use the word extra, and often I never know, like, is extra a good thing or a bad thing? Why is extra always seen as a bad thing?
It's pretty vague.
It's a good point.
Yeah. Like it's extra.
When you say it that way, it's like, that's a little extra, isn't it?
It's a little extra. And by that, I mean that, like, many people would not do that.
No, that's true.
Many people would not drag their bed into their living room purely because their dog is recovering from surgery. A lot of people will be like, well, you're a dog, and there's very little we can say or do to console you or explain the situation, because last time we tried to show you the chart, you just ate it. So we're going to leave you be, and it'll all be okay.
But Betty's a good dog.
Betty is a good dog.
That's
and believe me, I have no qualms at all with the course of action taken. I just think that it's very cute, and it's very Jesse and Phoenix to essentially move in with the dog and say, like, we're with you. We're here in solidarity.
That's right.
Look, we'll kneecap Jesse. And then you guys can recover together, because we believe that, misery loves company.
Well, Jesse, the way he talks about his knees, I'm sure they're already like screaming in pain and sympathy, because that's just how his knees are.
Exactly. I mean, we should send him to the vet.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah. Oh, they could have got like 4 surgeries in one.
Wouldn't that have been cute? A little photo of both of them,
just like, in triage together,
trussed up in a surgical suite somewhere, both under general anesthetic, tongues hanging out to one side.
Poor Phoenix has to drag both of them around.
Phoenix, like, these are my kids.
Jesse under one arm, Betty under the other.
Back to the cones of shame once again.
Anyway, looking very much forward to Jesse's eventual return to the show, but he's got a big puppy to take care of this morning for sure.
Okay, I just want to return to our initial topic of the day.
Okay,
whether or not the snow that is gradually amassing in the back of my truck will actually result in some kind of aerodynamic benefit once it fills the back of the truck and it's smoothed off.
Yes,
there are perils to having a radio station based in the same office as a bunch of scientists.
Yeah.
So one Bridget Rusk of Wilfrid Laurier has been in touch, and she has sent a photo of notepaper where she has already begun working on the mathematical problem.
Oh, no.
So the paper reads, assumptions, underlined. 5x7 pickup truck, 1.94 cubic yards, 1.48 meters cubed. Okay? 50 kilograms per meter cubed of snow, freshly fallen, assumption that compaction will balance. Snow in Ollie's truck weighs roughly 74 kilos, 163 pounds. I think she's still working on it at this point. That's all the notes that I've been sent so far.
Yeah.
She writes, I know this wasn't asked for, but as your neighborhood scientist, I got really excited about the morning math problem. Maybe we should set one each morning.
Yeah, why not?
If Jessie leaves point A at 6:56 a.m., how likely is it that Jessie will arrive at point B across town in light snow by 7 o'clock exactly, in time for the morning show bed to begin that he's supposed to talk over?
We don't need science for that. We can just use history.
Well, I mean, that's it. The record, the date that we have on this would suggest that, 80% shot.
Yeah, keeping in mind, factors that could measure in, such as like wind drag, of course, as we mentioned earlier, cards popping out of card holder, thus not being able to get inside in a normal amount of time, just general flusteredness.
Forgetting a wallet.
Forgetting a wallet. These are all things that need to potentially be factored in. That's why math is hard. There's so many variables in the real world anyway.
There are a lot of there's different kinds of snow. Like, which kind of snow is Bridget working with in this mathematical equation for my truck?
Is it sticky snow?
The white kind, I think.
Okay.
Well, we got that narrowed down.
Good.
Okay. Thanks, AJ.
You're welcome.
You started this morning like at the top of the heap in the science world as far as we were concerned, and then that white one comment. Yeah. I don't know.
That's snow's white.
It's just, yeah. What
do you mean? Are you talking about like wet snow and dry snow?
I think that's more what he was alluding to.
As far as compaction goes, it wouldn't matter.
Oh, that sounded smart.
That did sound smart, didn't it? And I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking, in my head, that sounds right, but I don't believe for 1 second that you know whether that's right or not.
I do know for a fact if you have a tonneau on the back of your truck, you do save fuel because airflow goes over the top of your cab and hits your tailgate, and it creates drag.
So therefore, if the snow acted as say that word again.
Compacted? Compaction?
No, not that word. What's the word for the thing you put on the back of your truck?
Tonneau.
Yeah, that. What? Also, what is with that word? That is a word that bears no resemblance to what it actually, like.
Yeah, I've never even heard that before.
Maybe French, maybe? Tonneau? Just the way it's spelled.
But that's just like the thing that you put
Tonneau.
Yeah, okay. That sounds French enough, yeah.
Like lid? What was wrong with the word lid?
Oh, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. I'm going to call it that from now on.
Truck lid.
Lid.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to Bridget's conclusion as she works on her morning math problem on your behalf. She's an odd one.
Morning, Bridget.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast. Hey, it was early. What do you want from us?
Mornings at the cabin, 7:39, minus 14 in Yellowknife right now. It's a beautiful day weather-wise, but it's a bit of a sad day at the cabin otherwise because someone who became very near and dear to us over the last, 6 months or so, a little more than that? 9 months?
July 1st.
It was her last day. This past summer, we had a moment I remember where, well, first of all, she was a real thorn in our side before that, I gotta say. As a news journalist...
I'm glad you said that, because up till now, most people were thinking Penny. Like, we hadn't really specified. We were like, all right, last 9 months or so, real thorn in our side at the start. People are like, yeah, I can believe it.
No. It's not Penny's last day. She's got many fruitful years left here at Cabin Radio. But Emelie Peacock, one of our favorite people and journalists who joined the team, yes, like AJ said, July 1st. She was before that, like we said, a bit of a thorn in our side. We were noticing her popping up and getting scoops on news stories. And Ollie, you're a proud news journalist. I know that. And I know that when Emelie would get to these stories before you, you'd be like, oh, I really admire the work she's doing, but she's really starting to annoy me.
Those are not the words I used. I do not recall ever saying, I really admire the work she's doing. I recall just swearing and throwing things around the office. But yeah, I, as a result, did what any sane human being would do, and I went and offered to buy her lunch and headhunted. And lo and behold, she came over here instead, which was great, because I was getting really, really bored of her being better than us.
Yeah. So she has done some fantastic work for us in that time, but now she's decided that I think she's a little bit. I think she was just a little bit burnt out on journalism. Was that kind of the overall sentiment?
Yeah,
and it's fair. You know, it's a tough industry. It's constant. It's not always light and fluffy stuff. There's a lot of heavy stuff you got to cover too, and that tends to weigh on people's minds. And eventually, it's kind of natural, especially for a young journalist, that eventually you kind of get burnt out. You maybe need to take some time away, and I think that's what Emelie's doing.
The old journalists too, but they just don't have any choice by then.
That's right.
Believe me, I got burnt out 4 years ago, but here I still am, a husk, a core, a cocoon
Emelie,
that the butterfly has shed and lofted away into the background.
Yeah, that's right. Look at Ollie. He's still here. He's still a husk. Why can't you be a husk along with us for at least a few more years?
And oddly, I did say, why can't you be a husk for at least a few more years? And strangely, that didn't persuade her at all. Can you imagine?
No, well, fair enough. Some people are cut for this industry, and some are cut out to, maybe explore something
enjoy
else.
themselves.
And then, that perhaps come back later.
Yeah.
But she's taken some time moving to, I think, Vancouver it is. And
Hope. She's going to Hope, BC.
Going to Hope, BC. Well, that sounds a lot better than Vancouver.
Yeah, she used to live there.
Okay.
So she's got a job lined up. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's in film.
Oh, wow. Really?
That's her original love is film.
This is why I have so enjoyed having an actual journalist around. Oh, I think it's probably this. Yeah, she's probably got to hope that's probably in film.
Well,
You
I
know
haven't
what?
had the time
That's
to chat
good.
with her at length about it. She's always in and out of she's always, covering news stories, and she's actually, rarely actually in the office.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably the mark of a good journalist most of the time.
She often is in the office. You just don't know where. So she's
always
in Studio 3.
Yeah.
Which has become, the lair of Emelie, the news lair.
Yeah.
Where she's in there, squirreled away, working on stories, the whole time. Yeah, I do not have enough good words to say. It's been an absolute pleasure for the last 9 months working with Emelie. She's fantastic. She's absolutely fantastic. It is the best lunch money I have ever spent persuading her to come over and work for us. Yeah. She's got one more day. And I would just point out yesterday, her second last day was the busiest day for traffic on our news website in the best part of a year. Yeah. So, yeah, she's going out on a high.
And I mean, there's definitely something to be said for someone who already knows that where the light is at the end of the tunnel, and she didn't check out at all. If anything, she seemed to become more engaged in the last 2-3 weeks since we learned that she was going to be leaving us. She's been going nuts lately.
Well, haven't we all? But yeah, I think she went demob happy in a kind of very I can actually afford to enjoy this now that I know it has a defined endpoint.
Right.
And I suspect we've all had experiences like that. I know I have, where you announce that you're going to leave a job, not necessarily a job that you didn't like in the first place, but just a job that you feel all right, I want my next challenge now.
Yeah.
But the fact that you've now declared that and set a finite point where this will end means that you can enjoy what you're doing that much more, because you know that there's only so much of it left.
Yeah.
Right? I know that I'm doing this job for 3 more weeks, so great. I'm going to have a great time doing it. I'm going to throw myself into it, and at the end of 3 weeks, that's that done.
How much of a difference would you say that she has made on your life in the last 9 months?
It's been refreshing to see somebody else still here at 7 o'clock in the evening. And she has, yes, you're occasionally here at 7 o'clock in the evening as
Just
well.
because I'm not a journalist doesn't mean I'm not here.
Okay. I meant the journalist. That'd be refreshing to see another journalist in the building. I mean, we don't have that many.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's made a huge difference. She's made a huge difference to the website, but frankly, she's made a difference mostly by being a really nice, lovely human being to work with.
Oh,
yeah.
She's great to work next to. She's lovely conversation. And actually, we were talking about leaving Yellowknife, and sometimes you leave a place and you go, "I'm so sick of this place. I just got to get out of here."
Yeah.
But Yellowknife seems to have that kind of pull where you go, "Okay, well, I want to leave. It's time for a new challenge, like you said. But I really like this town. I like the people. It's hard to leave."
Yeah.
And I know that feeling very well. I've left maybe 5 or 6 times and come back. And it's very bittersweet leaving Yellowknife. It's one of those places that when you walk away from, you go, oh, is this the right decision? I'm going to miss this place.
If you're walking, it's the wrong decision.
Well, I like to really savor the moment. So I walk to Edmonton, and then I get a vehicle from there. Maybe Grand Prairie if I'm feeling a little lazy.
Yeah.
But, we're going to miss her. She's been awesome.
I haven't been under that illusion at this point. I'm like, well, there's nothing better for me out there anywhere else, so I'm just going to stay here, I guess.
There's no natural disasters in this town. I'm going to see it through.
Yes,
so
right.
This comes back to my whole climate change theory, which is, you know what? Of all the places to be, if climate change gets disastrously bad over the next 30 years, this one's probably a good shot.
Yeah, we're probably in a good spot. Yeah.
Bunch of fresh water right over there. As long as we don't let all that arsenic leach into it, we'll be fine.
Well, among all the many things we have learned about Emelie in the last 9 months, one of them is that she is definitely not an early riser, so I don't anticipate hearing from her on the air over the course of the rest of this morning show to say goodbye. So we will say goodbye just in her absence, and then we're going to have a little get-together a little later on and give a proper send-off.
Will we be playing an appropriate song now to send her off, or will we just be playing whatever's next on the list? Come on, let's turn this into an appropriate tribute song. What's it going to be?
Yeah, what do we
You know what?
Leaving on a jet
Shockingly,
plane?
we are. No, the Trues, Not Ready to Go. On Mornings at the Cabin.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast was recorded before a sort of live, thankfully not in the studio, audience.
Lecter, Ollie, AJ, and now Sarah with you. Sarah Price joins us in Studio 1. How you doing, Sarah?
Pretty good.
Pretty good?
I never have anything very interesting to say to that answer. You don't have to ask me every time if you don't want to. Just introduce me.
My God, this
right.
is like Canadian passive-aggressive headquarters.
You could just, ignore that I'm here if you want.
You can say my name, but, I always, panic when you're like, how are you doing? I'm like, oh, my God. I have to
Oh, my
think of
God.
an answer.
How am I doing? Ah!
Too early for such a deep question.
Well, that's fair enough. Yeah, it's the dreamlike snow continues to fall outside. It actually looks like lovely outside right now. And once again, the snow shoveling enthusiasts just in their element right now. It continues to build, and your work continues to lie ahead of you. Ollie was talking earlier this morning about the fact that he is considering moving because a interesting little development has come up. Ollie, what's going on?
Does this... I'm going to be very vague about this because I don't want any of you lot listening to this to jump in on this before me. There is this beautiful little log cabin that has come up for rent on Latham Island.
Okay.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks great.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing is just picture book, back straight onto Back Bay, and it looks beautiful. Now, I at the moment live in an apartment that's perfectly nice. Nothing wrong with it. As apartments go in Yellowknife, it's probably one of the nicer ones you can get. And it's relatively cheap compared to what a lot of people would end up paying.
Right.
I don't know how I managed to score into it, but by Yellowknife standards, the rent is not that bad.
Right.
Now, I've just got to decide, do I give up, nice apartment for not that much money in order to live in log cabin initially kind of built in the 40s, for a little bit more money.
A little bit more? Oh, I assumed it would be even less.
Oh, it's a little bit more because you got to pay for the rent of the apartment includes a couple of the utility bills,
Right.
and stuff like that. The new rent is basically the same amount of base rent, but more utilities to pay.
Right.
So it's not a vast difference in cost, but got to pay a little bit more. But I thought AJ here made a very interesting point to me yesterday when I was talking to you about it.
He's been full of interesting points this morning.
He has, and this one wasn't even really a mathematical concept, the same as the ones he's been outlining earlier. You made a point about, your friends Isis and Shay.
Yes.
And their philosophy, which was?
If you're going to live in Yellowknife, do it the most Yellowknife way possible.
Interesting theory.
Yeah. So if you're going to move to Yellowknife, you're going to move to a remote area in the Arctic, then why not use that experience and that opportunity to really capture everything that it's worth? So they live out in a cabin on Madeline Lake.
Right.
And they bought this cabin and they did it all up. It looks absolutely gorgeous. They live off the grid. They now have a son, Owen, and they have a Chihuahua, which is Not a great dog.
Super
for the
northern.
woods.
Super
Not
northern.
Senator Yellowknife.
A large raven could take this thing.
Well, those are my favorite dog teams, the ones run by ravens with chihuahuas pulling them.
Yeah.
But that is a dog race I would watch.
Yeah, and he actually doesn't even really go outside a whole lot. Goes up for a quick pee and then comes right back in again.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
a smart dog.
I feel like the chihuahua is not relevant to the story. Yeah, carry
really
on.
ruined the illusion of the whole northern life.
Anyways,
But
yeah,
anyway,
yeah. Besides the Chihuahua, they're really living that Yellowknife life.
Yeah.
And that was one of the stipulations, especially with Isis coming to Yellowknife. She says, if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to come live with you in Yellowknife, I want to get the full experience and just get the whole shebang. So that was
Okay.
the point I made.
that's interesting. I mean, I can get behind that theory. I don't know if I would necessarily take it on for myself because, I mean, quite frankly, one of the things I love most about Yellowknife and living within the actual city is that everything, as we know, is like 5 to 10 minutes away. Yeah. You can walk to most places, let alone drive there within a reasonable amount of time. I do like the romance of living, out on like Madeline Lake or Pontoon or somewhere in that area. But at the same time, it's like, well, that kind of defeats a big part of what I love about living in Yellowknife.
Yeah, but you kind of do it anyways. I mean, because you go kayaking in the summer and you go skiing in the winter. Like, I mean, you're taking advantage of where we are and using that.
Yeah, true.
So you may not live out in a cabin somewhere, but you're still taking advantage of living in such a cool place.
I am killing it.
You're
right,
killing
AJ.
it. You're
right.
killing it.
I accept that answer.
So from that perspective, I think you're doing a great job.
well, thank you. Thank you.
Keep it up.
Ollie, what are you thinking?
What am I thinking right now?
Where are you
I'm
leaning?
thinking, how did my question about whether or not I should move into this log cabin end up in like us everyone reassuring Scott that he's killing it at being a Yellowknife?
Because you threw it to me.
Yeah.
You should have seen that coming.
That's true.
I meant specifically, what are you thinking in regards to this log cabin? Because for one, nothing about you screams log cabin to me.
I had this thought this morning. You leaving the log cabin in the morning, imagine the neighbors seeing you come out of this rustic log cabin in Old Town, and you're in a 3-piece suit and in a British tone, good morning. What would you think?
But that's exactly what I like about that scenario. You know, I mean,
The juxtaposition of it.
yeah. And I'm kind of a big fan of the whole log cabin thing. I would love to live in one permanently. The whole like vision of that and everything is something that really appeals to me. Now the problem I have is that I'm about as handy as a mute squirrel with no limbs, but I can at least I've got friends around that can help out with stuff. AJ already, like before I think I got about 3 sentences into this whole. I'm thinking of getting this place, and you were already like, I'm ready. Put me in. I got my tools.
I've got 3 projects planned already.
Yeah, and bearing in mind this is a rental, like the fact that you already have 3 projects planned, let's hope they agree to them.
Not permanent,
Okay. This I just gotta tell you that this cabin is beautiful, and also like there's a chance to have pets.
Oh,
Now,
okay,
that's a big one.
yeah.
Because no pets allowed in current apartment building.
Right.
Not really inclined to move to somewhere else kind of similar-ish downtown just in order to be able to get a pet because it seems like a lot of effort.
Right.
And I don't even know if I really have the lifestyle right now with the amount of stuff I have to do to really give a pet a good existence.
Right.
But the thought of having somewhere that backs directly onto the lake where I might be able to have pets.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, I know that I would be allowed to have pets. Yeah, there's a cat balcony, like nailed onto the front of the cabin facing Back Bay where like the cats can like get out through the window but then have like a fenced in sun deck to themselves basically. I was like, that's amazing.
Okay, that's
I might get a cat purely for that purpose, just so that it can enjoy itself.
Would you like my cat?
No.
I've got one.
Yeah.
no.
Your cat was last seen.
She's lovely.
No, your
She
cat
doesn't need a whole lot of attention or anything.
your cat was last seen by your housemate with only its 2 little back paws visible and the rest of it buried in its own food bag.
Okay, well, the more you do describe this log cabin, it actually does sound pretty lovely. So I kind of hope you jump on it. I would love to come visit. I think at first when you were talking about it, I, for some reason, was picturing you living in a houseboat. And that's
not going to happen.
That just, I could not imagine that. The shoulder seasons, Ollie just crashing through the ice on his...
Miserable. Cursing the world as he canoes over ice.
Yeah, if you could just imagine like a really furry, overweight, grumpy cat sitting drenched outside a doorstep, that would be the kind of image of me trying to get back to my house on the lake in breakup season. Just wet, drenched, miserable, would like to be inside and fed. So yeah, there'll be none of that houseboat nonsense. But there will. I think I'm gonna. The problem is, by the time I've decided, I'll eventually be like, oh yeah, I'd love to move in. And the answer's got to be, well, that's great. But like 3 days ago, we gave it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you?
You've been talking about it on air, and everyone else is like, oh, I need to go find this place.
Oh, it really does sound lovely. Yeah.
I'm relying on the fact that I don't think it's publicly listed yet.
How did you find out about it?
Because I have my means. I'm a news journalist, Sarah. I have my fingers in all of the pies. No, I don't know. Somebody messaged me. What do you want from me?
Just asking.
Yeah.
All right. You've changed my mind. Go out, get your log cabin, live your northern dream, Ollie.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast.
Tonight is the official opening for the Dead North Film Festival. The is it again the 10th Dead North Film Festival?
I don't know.
You're going to be on the red carpet, my friend.
I know. I got to brush up. I'll do it like 30 minutes before we go there.
Okay. So you and Ollie are going to be, as we said, just hitting the red carpet, interviewing film producers, actors, all that kind of stuff, organizers.
You name it. Yep.
Have you thought about what kind of questions you're going to ask? Are you going to go like typical like Ben Mulrooney type style? Or are you going to go what's her name, the old comedian who used to do it all the time, and just like cut people down?
I'm not sure, but I think that you're overthinking how much I think about this.
Joan Rivers, that's the one. You going to go Joan Rivers on them?
Probably not.
No.
Yeah, I'm probably going to let Ollie do most of the talking.
Okay.
And then I'll just chime in when asked to speak.
You were saying earlier you got to go in for makeup?
Yes.
That surprised me. I don't know. You're such a rugged guy. Like you got such a natural ruggedness to you that what can makeup improve on that?
Well, these aren't real freckles.
Really?
So I just need them to get touched up a little bit.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
A couple little brown spots over the nose. Makes me look cute.
Looking forward to it though?
Yes, I am. I'm excited to see some of the films. We'll have to leave a little early because we have Emelie's going away party.
That's right.
But we will be there for a couple, and we'll be there for kind of the opening speeches. And just see the whole vibe. It's the whole atmosphere that's really cool about Dead North.
Sarah, are there any Dead North films you are particularly looking forward to seing this year?
I have no idea what's going on at Dead North. I've never been to Dead North, actually.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh,
it's
first one.
Well, I don't know if I'm going this year either.
What? Why not?
Now, hold on just one darn second.
Okay.
Why are you not going?
Why?
Do you have an excuse? Is there something better going on?
Sleeping.
Sleeping?
No, I probably have a bunch of work to do this weekend. Maybe I'll go. I don't know. I don't want to just like go by myself.
Well, I
don't know how this works. I don't know. Like, do you like get tickets where I don't even know where it is?
It's at the Capitol Theater.
Yeah.
You're going to answer all my questions.
If
You-
it's
I'm going to have
you
no
get
excuse.
tickets.
This is a great segue. Well, thanks for these great questions, Sarah. Let me answer them. It's all at Capitol Theater. I don't know if it's sold out, but the weekend usually sells out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So you might have to look at maybe tonight showing, or probably not tonight, but Friday. Friday showing probably be the
I
best.
think the Saturday is completely sold out, if I'm not
That's
mistaken.
usually the hot ticket.
Yeah, and I think that went pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like
do you, like-
first day.
Do you buy tickets for individual shows or like
So
for
they
chunks of
they
time?
do
Like,
banks. So they'll
Okay.
take like certain movies will be played on Thursday, certain movies will be played on Friday, certain movies will be played on Saturday, and then Sunday throughout the day they put them all together. So you can kind of do a movie marathon.
I wonder if they're going to be. Are they doing that this year? I hadn't looked at the
believe so.
Sunday schedule, but like with 50 films, like I can't imagine someone sitting there and watching all 50 just one
Yeah.
after another. That's
in the
man.
past, I don't know if it's going to happen this year. In the past, they've usually split it up into two groups. Like there'll be like a morning and an afternoon showing.
Right?
But yeah, 50 films. I don't know. Maybe they shortlisted somehow.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
You're a Dead North vet. You've been in several films. You haven't
One.
directed. Oh, really?
I
thought
believe
you'd been in a couple.
one is not does not constitute several, but yes.
Oh, I thought you'd been in a couple over the years.
No,
Why
no.
did I think that?
No, the first one I was ever in was the one that I produced.
Oh, you produced it too.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're a vet of one movie,
Yes. I did a lot
but
in
wearing
one
several
movie.
hats.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I did quite a bit in one movie.
Well, then I think you are more than qualified to be the red carpet host.
I think so.
Yeah. Well done, sir.
Yeah, we got a couple of awards.
You didn't have any ideas for this year? None of your buddies had any films that they wanted to
did actually. The director from the last film we did, and it's kind of my friend group, Garrett, E-Man, myself, that kind of coordinate all this.
Right. And
we had this great idea. Well, E-Man had this great idea, and it just didn't work out time-wise. Alex Brockman also was part of that as well, and we just couldn't string it together, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it was a fantastic idea that really needed a bigger budget too, which is kind of funny. One of those ideas that we need to do justice with this. We need to do it right. We even had like a scaled down version that would still be quite good, but we just didn't have the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're thinking of holding it over till next year?
I really hope we do it.
Yeah.
It's a very cool idea. And in the scaled down version was quite simple, but yeah, just no one had the time, unfortunately. But maybe next year.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Sarah, I do hope you take in your first Dead North Film Festival because it is a ton of fun. The really like almost more than anything else, like the films are always there's always a ton of really good films that people put a lot of work into. But the atmosphere, the crowd is just a blast. Yeah. Everyone comes there, and they not only are you excited to see some great local film, but everyone has friends that are involved in all the movies that have made some of the movies, and like it's a very supportive atmosphere. Like have you been to one of the burlesque shows?
No.
It's kind of similar to that. It's a very, very like nurturing and very supportive atmosphere. And it's one of my favorite things about Yellowknife for sure, the Dead North Film Festival.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Creative Collective usually do like a costume competition during Dead North.
Yeah.
So people will actually dress up as like their characters or as like something spooky, kind of Halloween-esque. And then Creative Collective usually does a competition for who wins that the spookiest costume.
Yeah.
But if you miss it, you can always go to the Snow Castle. They shortlist a bunch of films and they play it at the Snow Castle too. So
yeah.
In a couple weeks they'll be playing
that.
Yeah.
In case you want to watch some films in slightly colder, less comfortable atmosphere.
If you don't like being warm while you watch a film, it's a great option.
So the 10th edition of Dead North Film Festival kicking off this year. Good luck to everyone involved. Very happy that this is a continued tradition here in Yellowknife, and looking forward to many more years of Dead North here in Yellowknife.
Thanks for listening. Check out more from the show at cabinradio.ca and by following the Mornings at the Cabin Facebook page.